Farm for Profit Podcast. Take a listen, have a blast. Farm for Profit Podcast. Learn about farming while having a laugh. Farm for Profit Podcast.
We like to share good stuff, good content.
Well, I've been in precision ag for 16 years now at John Deere. I'm the longest standing marketing precision ag guy, so I've been here on our journey for a long time, so it's been exciting to see that journey and be able to talk about where we've been and where we're going.
That's what we're here to do. So why don't you tell the listeners a little bit more about who you are and what your current role is, and then maybe tell about how this 16 years got you to where you are.
Yeah, great opportunities. Thank you. Matt Olson, I'm the manager of Precision Ag Go-to-Market for U.S. and Canada here for John Deere. Precision Ag guy, they call me. 22 years with the company. Started in the finance part of the business. Wanted to get closer to equipment, farmers, technology. And luckily, that is also based in the Des Moines area where I was at. So it was a great opportunity for me to get in. Started in business development. My work was around strategy, business cases, partnering, trying to understand what are the needs of our farmers, what are the economics driving their business, and then how can we as John Deere use that knowledge to build products that deliver bottom line value to those customers.
You know, the number of emails that we get from our listeners talking about what the future of agriculture is going to look like. You know, can you talk more about this? Can you talk more about how we're going to evolve, what farms are going to look like 10 years and 15 years down the road? And there aren't very many people, Dave, Corey, right?
No.
That have any idea what that looks like. But maybe Matt can talk a little bit more about the data side of things and what we're going to do with precision management going forward.
You know, when we talk about the future and you look at John Deere, we've been in business for now over 186 years. And so our history has been focused on working together with farmers together around the future. So we're not so much as trying to create the future. We're trying to take the needs of our farmer customers and then translate those needs into products and technologies and services that can help them get to that place together. And for sure, we may stretch how fast and where that ultimately ends up, but it's that partnership that we really are committed to making sure that when that product comes out the other end of the line, it's meeting their needs, and they step up and they say, I want that on my farm. John Deere is my equipment partner.
So, Matt, I got a question for you. Sometimes we don't know what we don't know. So you talk about a partnership with farmers, and so we're going to ask Corey. Corey's our resident farmer here, and he's young and forward-thinking, but still he doesn't know what 15 years ahead looks like.
Absolutely.
How do we gather data? What are we doing to get the data set to know what do farmers want? What do they want in the future so that we can build that strategic partnership product? So when it gets to the end of the line, we're doing exactly what you say. But on the front end, I'm struggling to think of where are we coming up with ideas? Like, what's next?
Yeah. So that the data trend is something that when we look to the future is something that's only going to grow. And when we look at the profitability that we've had and the management of the margins that we've had to do over the past couple of years, it's the opportunities that as we look to the future and the likely challenges we're going to see, that if we have a solid basis of data, we can better understand where we're at. So when the storm comes, we are in a better position to understand what is working on my farm and translating into the bottom line and what is not, because we all have access to a lot of data, right? Farmers are not short on data. What they are is what are the insights, and most importantly, how do those insights translate on my farm? Because my farm is different than your farm, and what works for me may not work for you.
Right.
And so when we're talking to farmers about getting on the journey of data, getting engaged with the John Deere Operations Center, having their entire fleet of equipment connected, it's really just trying to make sure that we get that grassroots benchmarking type data that understands where we're at, because if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And I'm really challenging farmers today to be thinking about how are we going to create that stable data set for the future to manage my operation.
Yep. What was the quote I had, Tanner, from that seed corn company? One of the founders said, whatever you measure will tend to grow. right? And data and all that. And so we started out on the farm with the old brown boxes,
Yes.
right? And we
original
had
Green Star display.
Yeah, right? So how crazy. We have come a long ways. What are we looking at now? Where are we coming with new displays?
You know, here at the show, we're talking about our brand new entire precision ag system. So we've got the new G5 family of displays, so the G5 Plus and the G5. So we've got now 35% more viewing area, 1080p high definition screen, 3 times the operating performance of the processing capabilities to be able to do more quickly at a higher resolution of control. You know, supported with that is the Starfire 7000 receiver. So now with that new GPS receiver, we can have 73% reduction in pull-in times, which allows you to get to the field faster. We also have new Starfire RTK, SFRTK level accuracy that allows you to have repeatable accuracy without the need for a base station. So as you move around your farms, you don't no longer have to worry about, well, which base station should I pull from to make sure that I'm getting those accurate boundaries.
Which is huge because as farmers get spread out more,
Absolutely
right?
right.
It's a pain. Even for us, we're a smaller farm, and we go to one side of the county, and it's like, which base station we pulling from?
And guys, I think he just hit the most important thing, and I don't know if you missed it, but we're at Commodity Classic. What's the most important commodity you have? He just talked about time.
Time.
He just talked about how he can save time. So, Corey, you're asking, where's the future? I think it is using that data to just flat out help save us time to relate to dollars in the end.
Yes. And the Ops Center has come, oh my gosh, he talked about that. You can tell fuel efficiency from different operators and tractors on your farm. I mean, it's all the way down to that level of metrics.
And the thing that we're most proud of when you look at the operations center is there's a lot of platforms out there that have a lot of the base agronomic data. But we want to put our farmers in a position where they can see the entirety of their operation in one place. And so it's that combination, Corey, that you just said is equipment, technology, land, inputs, and everything in between that you can put on one plate to make sure that when you're looking at your farm and your bottom line, all the variables are there. And when you're understanding what's working and what not working, it could be where the hybrids you're planting, on which fields, on what soils. But it also can extend into how is my equipment performing? Mm-hmm. When I've made that upgrade, I was sold on the increased production that I would be able to achieve. Did I get that? We can show you year over year how your machines are performing. So when you make that investment, you can come back and say, you know what? This has made a return on investment. So I'd really challenge farmers that are listening to us today to not think about platforms like the operations center as just a place for your yield maps.
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing I want them to think in their mind is operations center is about return on investment. And all of the assets that you make, that you have, and the investments that you make are able to be reviewed and analyzed for further decisions in the future.
And that's exactly what the podcast is about. And that's what we're trying to let our listeners discover for themselves, but then also almost push onto them. It's just how much data. You've said it from the beginning, data. Data is the currency of the internet, but it's also the currency of your
future.
farm
Yeah.
and your future. Exactly. So we're teasing our listeners on this spring technology episode, and we're going to cut you short, but if people want to learn more about what you guys have going on, because you're even working across different ages of equipment, you're able to connect all types of equipment across the farm. But if people want to discover more about it, where do they go to dive into what's available?
Absolutely right. We can put all of this technology on not only John Deere equipment, but other brands of equipment, other technologies. And the best place to go is your local John Deere dealer. They're the ones that can help take this off your plate and help make it simple for you, because I know that everyone listening to us doesn't need another job, right? Yeah. But they want the outcome, and your John Deere dealer can make this journey through data and precision agriculture easier for you.
I got to add one more question. Do we have time for one more?
We got a quick one. Yep.
Okay, so you just said it easy encumbrance of learning technology.
Yeah.
What is precision agriculture doing? I look at our crowd. I got 20-year-olds, I got 60, 70-year-olds, I got 50-year-olds here.
Did you see that lady's head turn around when you called her 60?
I did not. I just generically pointed out there. With that being said, the younger generation adapts to technology faster, but the decision makers, you were just talking about the decision maker, and that's what we want them to do. They might be the older generation. Is there anything precision agriculture is doing and John Deere doing to
Absolutely.
teach, educate, make it easy for me?
Yeah, so there's two things. Number one, our priority at John Deere is to make sure that things are easier to get insights that don't require you have to learn more about software.
Okay,
So
great.
that we got to get to the root of the issue is that if we bring automation and a user experience that's focused on the customer, we will give you the insights that you're looking for without having to dig for them.
Right.
And so if we do that, then all of a sudden we don't have to focus as much on the how do I turn the dials to get this
Okay,
outcome.
perfect.
And that's where we're focused.
I'm glad
That's
you're
great.
both
Yeah.
sides, not just the technology,
Yeah.
but how do we implement and use it so you're user focused and technology focused?
Bingo. You got it.
Having everything in one spot and not having to use 3, 4, 5 different services because it's cumbersome is a huge advantage to me as a farmer.
Absolutely.
Matt, this has been a pleasure, and I wrote it down.
Pleasure's
We're
all
going to
mine.
use this a lot. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So thank you for that nugget and the rest of the information. Let's
Appreciate
have
the
a great rest
opportunity.
of the show.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.